Grammar in French has an almost comical importance. We learn languages almost entirely through their grammars for the first year and study French grammar all the way through primary school, and that's 5 years. The main reason is that grammar is the building blocks of a language and that without it, you will always struggle when moving outside of your comfort zone. Another good reason to pay good attention to the grammar of French in particular is that it is fairly hard and demands a good deal of work at the beginning. But trust me, if everyone in France managed to learn the language, you should too. Today we will start by looking at the nature of the words in a sentence. This is a very basic level of grammar knowledge, to which I will be referring to often during my classes, so it is important that you know every one of those concepts. Most of you should have no problem with those, as they are very common, but grammar is not always part of the curriculum at school, and a refresher cannot harm anyone. There are 9 different types of word in a sentence, and they all have a different nature. The natures are the verb, the noun, the article, the adjective, the pronoun, the adverb, the preposition, the conjunction, and the interjection. The verb is very simple. For example, if I say, I eat an apple, eat is the verb. In French, it would be Pierre mange une pomme. Peter eats an apple. Mange is therefore the verb. It expresses the action. It can also express the state. For example, Nicole est heureuse. Nicole is happy. Then we move on to the noun. The noun is declined in 2 forms. There is the proper name, which is used for actual people's name, like François, Louise, or people from a specific place, like Londonians, Parisiens, that kind of names. Those are noms propres. And then there are noms communs. Those are applied for anything else, which would be animals, things, also people, which are going to be a category. For example, les enfants, the children, is a nom commun. La table, the table, is a nom commun. We then move on to articles. In French, the article indicates the gender and the number of a noun. Articles come in 3 sorts. The indefinite article, which is un, une, des. J'ouvre une fenêtre. I open a window, which is not definite. And then les articles définis, which is definite articles. Le, la, les. For example, j'ouvre la fenêtre de la cuisine. I am opening the window of the kitchen. This is not just a window, it's the window. Same thing. We then move to the adjective. The adjective is a word that accompanies a noun and defines it. All adjectives have to follow the rules of gender and number. For example, a green car, une voiture verte. Green is an adjective because it defines the car as being green. One of the main use of an adjective is the qualificative form. Those are used to accompany a noun and describe it. For example, this house is beautiful. This brown chair is sturdy. Beautiful, brown, and sturdy are all adjective qualificative of the nouns they refer to. An adjective qualificative can be epithet or attribut. The first one, the epithet, is quite straightforward. For example, if I say a green car, green is an adjective qualificative epithet of the word car, because it's an adjective that is right next to the noun. If I say the car is beautiful, beautiful is an adjective attribut because it will come after the verb but still describe the noun. The next category of adjective is demonstratif. Those are used to show something or to point to something. For example, ce, cette, c'est are all adjectives démonstratifs and they are used so. Ce professeur est gentil. This professor is nice. As you can see, those adjectives are used to indicate which noun or which thing you're talking about. The following category is the possessive. Possessive adjectives are used to indicate ownership. They are numerous and depend on the gender and the number and the owner of the noun in question. For example, mon, ton, son, ma, ta, sa. Those are my, your, and his for the masculine, and then my, yours, and hers for the feminine, followed by notre, votre, leur, which is our, your, and their, mes, tes, ses, ours, yours, and theirs. We then move on to two categories of adjectives that are similar, and they are numeral adjectives. We have two types of numeral adjective. The first one is ordinal, and which means first, second, third, because it's ordering things. And we also have adjectif numéral cardinal, which is very simple. It's the use of a number. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of those are adjectif numéral cardinal. It's a word that accompanies a noun and indicates the number or the quantity of the noun. For example, Gilles a 2 enfants. Gilles has 2 kids. We now move on from the adjective to the pronoun. The pronoun is a word that represents a word, usually a noun, or a group of words, and is used in order to avoid repetition. Then we move on to pronoms relatifs, which are more important and more commonly used. The pronoms relatifs are qui, que, quoi, dont, où, et lequel. And those are very simply words used to link two parts of a sentence. For example, voici le dictionnaire dont je me sers. Here is the dictionary that I am using. The pronom relatif is therefore quite an important part of a sentence, and their role when we come to conjugation and agreement between gender and plurals is quite important. Leaving the pronouns, we move on to the adverbs. The adverb is an interesting word. It is invariable, which means that no matter how you use it, its spelling will never change. It can be used with feminine, masculine, plural, or singular, but will never change. There is a great number of adverbs, which means that I will not be able to list all of them here. The main thing that you have to remember is that there are many different forms of adverb. If you take an adjective and add ment at the end, you make an adverb. Alternatively, you also have oui, non, today, tonight. Those words also are adverbs. We now move on to prépositions. The prépositions are à, de, par, pour, avec, sans, etc., etc. Just like the adverb, it's a word that will never change its spelling and is used to introduce a complement to the sentence. For example, le livre est sur la table, the book is on the table. The list is quite long, but the main ones are à, de, par, pour, avec, sans. Unfortunately, translating those is slightly complex because most of those words have more than one signification in a different language. Just like the word to in English would be translated by half a dozen words in French, the word de in French becomes half a dozen different words in English. We then move on to conjunctions. Conjunctions are used to articulate parts of a sentence together. Once again, those are invariables, which means that their spelling will never change. You have two types of conjunctions. You have conjonction de coordination, which unite two words of the same nature and of the same function. For example, Gilles est grand et fort. Gilles is tall and strong. And also, je travaille fort, mais mon salaire n'augmente pas. I work hard, but my salary does not increase, which are two parts of a sentence that could be considered wholes together and are linked by the word but, mais in French. And then we have the conjonction de subordination, which is used to unite two propositions or two parts of a sentence, one depending on the other. For example, nous partirons quand tu le voudras. We will leave when you want. And finally, the final type of nature is the interjection, which is very simply something that you would have on its own. For example, ha, oh, bravo, damn, that kind of things. So this was the first part of this class, and as you can see, we are trying to get the boring bits out of the way first. Obviously, this is not exactly French, as you can have the same words in English or in any other language, of course, but it's important to know them and to have them in mind, mostly because I will refer to them quite a bit. So until next time, thank you for your attention. My name was Kim Vidar. Goodbye.